All right. Hey, everyone.
I was just gonna say, I got the notification that we are live, Craig.
Hmm.
That's what it says, Craig.
We
Good
are.
evening, 15 minutes of murder, family, and community. We are live. It is Wednesday. We don't have tea. She's in the chat though, right, Craig?
She said she'd be in the chat.
Okay.
Her other job has her busy tonight. But she can, join us in the chat.
Yeah. And if you all follow me on Facebook, I posted a share that Tanisha wants us to spread about her casting gig. So go take a look at that. If you follow me on Facebook, share it wide and far as you can.
Yeah,
Per
they're
Tanisha's request.
they're casting up sort of in the Northeast area, right?
Yeah, that East Coast. Uh, I think the last time she and I talked about it, she described it as they're casting for any engaged couple, right, Craig?
Hmm.
In the area of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or any like state that touches Pennsylvania, I think is what it is. She's in the chat. She can fill you in on more. But if y'all follow us on our social media pages, go ahead and share T's advertisement.
Yes, and speaking of our social media pages, if you're joining us tonight on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to us and turn your notifications on. It's a huge help for us to reach the world with 15 Minutes of Murder. We're hoping to get back into our regular cadence in the next couple weeks, where we'll start bringing you some more cases and deep dive podcasts, which we started with at the beginning of the year. Until then, you can catch up on all of our older episodes, and we will continue to be here Wednesday nights live like we are tonight.
Like we are tonight.
And then
And
lately, we've been filling our Sundays in with Desiree, with a segment called Ask a Private Investigator or Ask a PI. So I think tonight, what we're going to do for live is sort of continue on with that segment because we have some questions.
got questions.
Yeah.
And I don't know the questions, y'all. So my facial responses and my verbal responses, all of that is finna be live. I don't know what this man finna ask me. He's just finna ask me and we're gonna talk about it. That's it.
Cool. Well, let's see. Tanisha is definitely in the chat.
Okay.
Hi, Kirsten. If anyone has questions, be sure to drop them into the chat. We'll try to get to them tonight. And I will we have a list of questions that people had sent in. A couple you answered already for those segments
Okay.
that we've posted. So I'll try to avoid those questions. Um, let's see. I think, did you answer this one? What is the biggest lie people believe about investigations? What TV gets wrong and what people expect versus reality? Was that one of the first ones? Expectations was the one you did, right?
Yeah, I did. I did a video on expectations, and I did one on that one too.
Oh, okay. Oh, lies. I see. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm seeing it on my desktop.
Okay.
Um, so that other one would be when should somebody not hire a private investigator, correct?
Well, so people generally don't know when not to hire an investigator. That's why they're calling, right? So when people call me, and I am consulting with them on the phone call, I always tell them that although I am in the business of making money, um, My dog is expensive. I got to keep these toys rolling in. I am not comfortable taking people's money from them to do things that they can do themselves. So what I will do is I will listen to them, listen to what their concerns are, and then kind of brainstorm with them some of the things that they can do. Because honestly, like I've said a whole bunch of times, right, on this platform, is that we all are private investigators in some degree. That's essentially how we live. Like that's how what keeps us alive. And so I'll just brainstorm with them, Craig, and talk to them and be like, oh, okay, well, this is what I would do. So try this, and then I will go down the line with them step by step to tell them what to do. And then make sure they know if they try those things and it doesn't work for them to give me a call, and then we can go from there. But I really honestly um really try not to take people's money because my services get really expensive. I am not cheap at all. And I understand that, like I said, it's some stuff folks can do on their own, and then I try to send them away for them to do that. So you really won't know when you shouldn't hire a private investigator until you call an honest. And I think that's really what it is, an honest investigator, because you'll call an investigator and they'll be like, yeah, run that money. I got you. I'll do it. But me, not so much. Keep your money. Christmas is probably coming up. Your birthday is probably coming up. Valentine's Day is in a few days. So keep your money to yourself. Go do this, go do that, and then call me back and we'll go from there. So that's how people will know not to call and do a private investigator.
Is
But
there
some,
like,
what were you about to say?
well, number one, my camera's bugging out tonight for some reason. Sorry, I keep going in and out of focus. Is there sort of like an example of a tipping point um, that people might not be able to do at home that you might recommend, okay, now it's time for me to step in. This is like a good moment for it.
Mm-hmm. So it might be something like if they want a surveillance. I wouldn't necessarily um suggest that someone does surveillance on their own. If they want documents served, say, I'm suing my baby daddy for child support or something like that, I wouldn't suggest that they do that on their own. If they want to send in a Freedom of Information Act, that is something that an experienced person may know how to do. And a Freedom of Information Act is simply like you send notice to some kind of entity, the police, a news station, something like that, for you to get some information. So whether it's case files, police reports, things like that. Um, if you're kind of savvy, you can probably figure that out yourself. But if you're kind of nervous about it, then I'll go ahead and do that for you. So it's things like that, Craig. Gathering documents. My mom is sick and we need to find her medical records, and she's been sick for some time. I will say, okay, well, I need you all to sign some kind of HIPAA release form, and I will start going to the listed medical facilities or doctors to gather records. So it can span, Craig, like across the board. But in all of those cases, when people are paying me out of pocket, these are these retained cases that are coming in, people are paying me out of pocket. I will literally spend an hour or so on the phone trying to talk them out of hiring me, trying to give them ways that they can do this on their own, because again, it's expensive. Now when attorneys call me, they kind of already have an idea of what we need to do, so it's not too much of talking them out of it because they already have a grasp of what the client is asking for.
Got it. I
Mm-hmm.
think Tanisha, um, somebody said an FOIA request.
Yep. Yep. And in my world, like I call it a FOIA request. So even when Craig and Tanisha, whenever I'm talking to y'all and we're going over a case, I'd be like, ooh. Maybe we should file a FOIA request. So that's what it is, the Freedom of Information Act.
Oh, okay, that's what it stands for.
Mm-hmm.
Got
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Tanisha has a question, of course.
What Tanisha talking about?
She says, do most PIs do what you do, working so closely with judges and being in the courts? I think maybe most believe PI work is done without the court or lawyers or more privately.
It depends on the type of investigator. So I am the investigator that attorneys call when they are in courts. Like you may call another investigator who, I don't know, a slip and fall injury, maybe I think my wife or my baby daddy or whoever is cheating on me. Maybe those type of attorneys aren't so connected to the courts as I am, but because of the investigations that I do, I am. So even outside of my criminal defense cases, I do civil rights investigations where, wrongful unemployment, gender, racial, and ethnic bias cases that are, someone is suing um a police officer who may be getting harassed at work. Like one case I had, there was and this was really big in the media. It was a African American police officer in a Macomb County. See that pause? I said how I said Macomb County. If you watching this, if you from the Detroit area, when I said a Black woman police officer in Macomb County, you kind of already know where this is going. So she was like racially harassed, called gorillas and nooses and all kind of stuff left around her desk in her work area. And so her attorney hired me to kind of dig into that, do some background work, try to prove that these other officers had racial biases, and this woman sued and was able to collect on her money. So, um, generally, when an attorney calls me, his goal is to get in court. Ain't nobody, nope, aside from what I would call like a private payer or just a regular person. But if an attorney is calling Desiree Edwards and Sunshine Investigations, his goal is to get in court and get in court and win. Now, like I said, another investigator, I don't know, what their shtick is or what their brand is, but that's my brand. My brand is let's go to court and win.
Okay, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, let's see, another one of the questions we might have. Um, what are the most dangerous assumptions people make when something goes wrong? Like time, silence, trusting the system, etc.
I think what I find is the most dangerous thing when something goes wrong is when people don't believe that their own people, like their moms, their wives, their sisters, their brothers, will not turn on them. And so I have had cases where once we get into court, like people's mothers pop up on the witness list as an opposing witness to the client. Or even, let's say me and my husband, let's say I get into some trouble and well, not my husband, but let's say a friend of mine and I get into some trouble, the prosecutor may use them as a witness against me. And they may not even be a willing participant, but once you've been subpoenaed, you can't say no. So I always tell people just, when we're going over your cases, no matter what kind of case it is, criminal defense, these civil rights cases, whatever it is dangerous for you to believe that your own people, your friends, your family, your neighbors, or whoever will not be there looking at you from the opposing side, whether they mean to do it or whether they are forced to do it. And a whole lot of times it is them being forced to do it. So again, let's go back to me. If I get in trouble and the police and the prosecutor want to use my friend against me, my friend might be like, man, I'm not doing that. Get out my face. But then now here they come with, well, if you don't participate, we're going to call CPS and we're going to take your kids and all of that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Um, I have had cases where a client's girlfriend or wife may not want to participate. Well, because there has been an ongoing investigation, now they have sat down with this woman and showed them the client's text messages from where they may have been cheating on this woman. So now this woman is pissed off and now she's like, bet, what you want me to say? Where you want me to go? I'll do it. So those kind of things where you just really can't underestimate what the opposing side will say and do to get that win.
It sounds it sounds like it goes both ways. It sounds really messy. It sounds really
Hmm.
like it could be really dirty. And it also sounds like it could be a hard pill to swallow if you have your best friend sitting across from you
Yeah.
saying things you would never think they would say.
Hmm. Yeah. And a whole lot of times, like I have clients who take pleas and don't fight back because just from what I'm saying, once you are geared up and go to trial, everything is fair game. And it's, do I take a plea and protect my family from being forced to participate in this? Or do I just say, forget it, let's go to trial? And whoever says what says that. I have had clients who have, and this is a criminal defense matter, where clients have pled guilty just to out of fear that their co-defendants will come back and seek revenge against their family members. So let me go ahead and take this plea so I don't have to go to trial and now my family is safe. Because it really is this. Des, if I plead guilty, I mean, if I go to trial and I start talking, they're going to come at my family. And what can I do other than sit in prison and wait for the phone calls and the letters and the emails to come through? They got your mama, they following your sister, they sending little kids to the middle school to beat up your niece. So people will just say, I'll take the plea deal to avoid that.
Wow.
Whether they are guilty or not, I'll just take the plea deal.
So and does that usually equal jail time?
Oh, prison, yes.
Yeah,
Like I've
okay.
had people plead to 20, 30, 40-year prison sentences just for that out of, I am afraid and this is the best way that I can protect my family. Absolutely.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like 6 months.
Oh no. I mean, because if it depending on how deep you are into it, Craig, if you that deep, they really they might come for your mama. They might send some other big kids to your niece's elementary school to beat her every single day.
Jeez. Um, your job doesn't sound super awesome all the time.
It is not super awesome all the time, and this is why sometimes in our group chats, when you and Tanisha are chatting away, I'm kind of quiet and hands off because I really have to make sure that I am um taking care of myself. Yeah.
I can sort of tell when you get
Yeah,
quiet. I like Des is doing Des stuff.
Des is doing this. And even like tonight, like when we minutes before we got on, and I was telling you all, like I just got home, I was running errands with my client's brother. I went and picked him up from work and we went and ran some errands, did some evidence gathering that we needed to do. And this was my first time meeting this young man. So now I am counseling to him and digging in my past and bringing up old memories to kind of pour goodness and positivity in him and tell him, don't give up, stay out these streets. This is how you can, that same hustle mentality that you got. Here are some ways that you can apply it. So, and then now I have to drive away from him with still in my mommy feelings, still now picking, repairing the scabs of my personal experiences that I had. as I was growing up, um, only for me to get home and turn on the camera and talk to y'all.
which is our kind of hustle.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah,
So it never really stops and it's all really relative. And like I said, I just have to make sure that I take the time to take care of myself.
for sure. That's something
Hmm.
I've learned is super important.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh, I will crash out. Like if I don't take that time, even on a good day, the stuff that I see will be enough to make me crash out.
Wow. I get it makes me think about like my days are nothing like what you're talking about. And I'm stressed out.
Well, it's a matter of, I don't look at it as my life is more stressful as anyone else's because we all, you know, have a different starting line, right? So it's, like when you're looking on the internet and it's those pictures of the kid, I think it's like highlighting equity versus equitable and fair and whatever. And it's this one kid, he's sitting on this box and his box is shorter than the other kids, or this one's box is and they're like looking over the fence. You know what memes I'm talking about? Have you ever seen
Mm-hmm,
those?
mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
that kind of deal where I can't say to you that my day or my life is more stressful when I have no idea where you come from, what you are dealing with. And that is exactly why I approach everyone in this work the way that I do, because I have no idea what you're going through. Like I have, but by the time I knock on your door, the sheriff could have just left with an eviction notice,
Mm-hmm.
right? So because I have no idea what you're going with, I just really try to approach everyone from the perspective of when I leave you, I want to leave you without adding any more mess to your plate. I
It's
don't I
also
don't
it's also like you have no idea what people are going through, but you also don't know how they're handling what they're going
Yeah,
through because
right.
everybody's different. Everyone's different.
Everyone is different. And I tell people, no matter, because I am the get into court investigator. If I knock on your door, something bad has happened. Whether it is, you are part of this huge lawsuit for this police department because this police department has shown racial and gender and ethnic bias against someone, whatever the reason. For me to be knocking on your door and calling your phone, something bad has had to happen, no matter what. Because otherwise, I wouldn't even know you.
Oh,
And that
wow.
is why I kind of approach people, try to bring as much light and positivity to this as I possibly can.
Yeah, that's the best approach you can
Mm,
do, right? It's the best way to
yeah,
approach it. Yeah.
yeah,
Let's see. Do you want to try to attack maybe one more question
yeah. We
tonight?
can ask as many questions as we got, as much time as we got. I'm cool with it.
Um, let's see. One of the questions says, "What is the first thing you look for that most people completely miss?" Like behavior, timelines, inconsistencies. What are you really good at picking up on?
All of the small things. So, for example, I was telling you about I was with that young guy today. He's in his early 20s. Um, and one of the things that we needed to do was we needed to go, and his brother was my client. And we needed to go to a library to make copies. It is like 15 minutes before the library closed. And we're driving. I got my GPS on because I'm thinking we're going to go to the main library downtown Detroit. Now, again, this little boy, and I say little boy with all the love because I'm much older than him. He's sitting in my passenger seat. He goes, "Oh, make a left. There's a library down this street." So once we got into the library and I was talking to one of the librarians, I was telling her how impressive that was to me because just him saying, hang left, there's a library a half a mile down this street. Like you couldn't even see the library from where we turned. That in itself told me that this was a good kid because most kids that are out here causing trouble, robbing folks, beating folks, selling dope, all that kind of stuff, they might not know where a library is. But he immediately knew to tell me to go to where the library was at without a GPS or anything. I was like, where to go now? He was like, turn left. And then I said, what now? Like he guided me to the library from where we were. So like things like that is what I really tap into with people. I pay attention to the things how people lead in the conversation. So generally, what is important to you is what you will say first. And that is kind of what I pick up on. So if you call me with a complaint, and let's say uh the complaint is, you know, my dad, he's doing this and he's doing that, and like in a negative light. And then you start saying, well, and he's elderly and he's this and he's that. Well, if you really cared that your father was elderly and maybe, you know, early stages of dementia, that would have been the first thing that you said. You wouldn't have started with all of the negative things. You would have started with, my dad has a diminished capacity. I'm concerned about him. That is where you would have led. So those are kind of the things that I kind of pick up on with what is of importance to somebody, what it is that they know, that kind of stuff, Craig.
Um, yeah, I mean, it reminds me of when I was that age. I would go to the library all the time. It was like an escape. It was somewhere I could be left alone. I could
Mm-hmm.
read
Mm-hmm.
comic books there. I could listen to
Yep.
music there and do all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah, but most troublemakers, if you out in the streets and all that kind of stuff, you may not know where the local library is.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm looking to see if anybody's chiming in on our chat tonight too. So far, no new texts. But I do have one last question that I think could be a good way for us to sum up
What's up?
tonight. Um, we're gonna have to get some more questions in, everyone watching tonight, because we need to make some more of these Ask a PI segments to post. And we've
Yeah,
gone through all
because
of our
that
questions
yeah,
tonight.
that's crazy because every time I go somewhere, everybody's like, "Oh, I could be a private investigator. I could be a private investigator." Well, where's the questions?
Yeah, where are the questions?
Where's the question?
Bring it. So the last question I have here, is if someone thinks hiring a PI will give them peace, what should they actually expect?
I don't know if it's a matter of what they should expect, but it could be a matter of what they are prepared for. Because again, I tell everyone that I am a fact investigator, and that is why I do several different types of cases because I am seeking facts. And sometimes those facts they ain't what you think they are. And I always say that one thing about this work is that it has taught me that the villain ain't who you think the villain is. And sometimes like people get are emotionally attached to their thoughts. They are emotionally attached to their expectations. So if you send in a private investigator because of whatever reason, you are obviously invested in that. And so when I go to investigate it and I find out, baby, that's not what you thought it was, now you have to deal with that. You gotta compartmentalize with that. You
Hmm.
got to do, like, even if it's again back to a case where someone expects their partner is cheating on them, right? You kind of already know that, because otherwise why are you engaging in a private investigator, right? So oftentimes you will find out that that person absolutely is cheating on you. But what do you do now when you find out that they are not? That's the level of emotions that you got to deal with too, because here you are, you haven't trusted your partner.
I would never have thought of it that
Hmm.
way.
What do you have now? What? Who is the problem now?
Who's the crazy one?
Who is the crazy one? And that's what I say. The villain ain't always the villain. How difficult, how much hell have you raised with your partner, expecting them of cheating on you, only for you to find out that they are not? They have probably tried to go out and hang out with their friends, and you done fought and cussed them out about that. They have gone to take a shower and you're in their phone. Like, it's a whole lot of violations that you have done, thinking one thing and for it to find be another. So now you're sitting there with what? Egg on your face. Now you got to go apologize. And then does that person want you anymore? Because what
Yeah.
kind of time are you on?
Yeah, like how sick of you doing that are they at this point?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you don't trust me. Do I want to even continue this relationship with you? So, yeah, you have to be ready to find out everything, not just find out what you think I'm going to find out.
This sort of reminds me of some of the cases we've talked about in the past where um people get so much tunnel vision,
Hmm.
they don't bother to notice anything else that's going
You
on.
don't bother to notice anything else. And yeah, like, let's go back to, say, like Alan Wilmer, who was the deceased suspect for the Colonial Parkway murders, right? Now, the family is all thinking, this case is solved. He has done it, this, that, and the other. The police has told us. But considering he's passed a polygraph test and all this other stuff, now what will that family do if it comes back that he really wasn't the person who killed their loved ones? And even further than that, do the police, do they just leave it at that? Like, okay, well, we think we have someone, but we didn't already told these people it was Alan Wilmer, so I guess we got to leave it at Alan Wilmer.
Yeah, like how bad of a look is it to go back on that?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And we know, even in politics, when we're looking at our social media feeds, it's really hard for people to pivot from a set idea, right? Like, even when they get that new information, forget it. I still believe that.
Right. Like even when they've been proven wrong, they still
Hmm.
believe whatever they were believing.
You still believe that. You still
Yeah.
believe that.
Wow.
So
What a
yeah, just be
mess.
be prepared to find out some stuff that you ain't want to find out, by way of you, and your thoughts and your expectations are completely off the mark. Completely off the mark.
Yeah. Well, I think that's probably a good spot for us to wrap up tonight, right?
Hmm.
Anything else we need to talk about? I know we need some more Ask the PI questions. If
We need
anybody's
those.
watching this, please send them in.
We need those.
Huh?
And if you have some Ask a PI questions after seeing this, drop them in our comment section right there.
For
Right
sure.
there.
We'll either reply or use them in a future live episode or one of the one-off question and answer sort of things that you've been doing
Hmm.
on Sundays. People seem to enjoy those
Yeah.
segments that we've been using. So
Yeah, well, Craig, I'm gonna run my mouth, so I probably will do both. I'll probably talk to him in the comments and still do the Sunday night video about it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, hopefully by next Wednesday, maybe Tanisha will be back with us. Hopefully she's feeling better. I know work stressed her out, and recently she has been recovering from um, a surgery that she had recently. And I know it's freezing cold where y'all are, has been for a long time.
Don't brag, Craig.
I'm in Florida, so it's been
Craig, said,
it's been cold, but
listen,
not
y'all.
much. Not like
Listen to
y'all.
me. Listen. I am here in Detroit. Tanisha is in New Jersey. Craig is in Florida. Do you know Craig sent us pictures of people surfing on the beach today?
I had to pull over and jump out of the car and take a quick photo because I know Tanisha loves the ocean. I wanted to make her feel better today.
You should have like text a disclaimer because that is what Tanisha may like to see while she is snowed in. That ain't what I wanted to see while I'm snowed in. And
What do
it was what'd you say?
what do you want to see?
That's why I said you have to send a disclaimer and let me like brace myself for like, okay, this is something, this is good stuff. This ain't the crap that I'm looking at. Well, right now it's dirty snow. It's not even pretty white snow
Yeah.
because we're starting to thaw out and things are melting. So we're at that ugly phase of snow. And
Maybe
then
one
here comes
day, oh, here I
with
come just sending pictures of the beach. Yeah.
of a surfer. That man was catching a wave, honey, and I'm just like, where's my hat, my scarf, and my gloves? Let me auto start the car so it can be warm when I get into it.
Well, maybe one day, when 15 Minutes of Murder is big and we're famous and we can afford to all meet up somewhere, we'll go on a 15 Minutes of Murder retreat somewhere tropical. You're like, yes.
Yes. Yes.
We'll bring
I
Tanisha
like
down
that.
to Florida. She would like to do that too.
Did she just have something to say in the comments about this discussion we're having?
That's what I was just looking to see. Craig chose violence.
Yes.
That's what Kirsten said.
Yes, Chrissy, that is exactly what he did. He chose violence with no warning whatsoever. He just firing shots.
Snow, she said, well, Tanisha said, yes, total water baby. I think that's what she calls herself, a water baby.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and then Kirsten said, snow at my curb is disgusting.
See?
So,
Yeah. This is that time of the year where it is just like so ugly. It's just disgusting looking. I hate it.
well, we'll be back into the springtime soon. So, until then, or
Until
until Wednesday, or until Sunday, probably for Des. You'll see Des on Sunday. Um, but we'll be back next Wednesday again with a live 7:30 all the time, every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Here on Facebook, you can catch up with our older episodes if you haven't watched them here on Facebook. No, here on YouTube. I keep saying Facebook. Here on YouTube. Um, and you can visit our website if you want some more information on the episodes. There are case files there that you can look at 15minutesofmurder.com.
hmm and then we should uh host Tanisha's editing gig onto the 15 minutes of murder Facebook page or wherever so people can access it from there and share it from there if they're not following our personal pages.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If anyone's interested, we'll try to get that up tonight sometime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right, Des. Good to see
All
you
right,
in real
Craig.
life. Yeah, I'll talk to you again, I'm sure very soon.
Yes, probably like 2 or 3 minutes after this ends.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Good night, family.